10 fish you should never eat. When we think about some major food groups, we think about cereals, veggies, fruits, fats, and protein. And when we think about protein, the biggest source that people mention is either milk or fish. That's correct, because fish are so rich in protein that consuming just an ounce of them can provide our bodies with around 18 grams of protein. Sounds great, doesn't it? But hold on, because despite what all healthy diet advocates might have told you about fish, it's not always safe to consume them. But does that mean you should stop consuming them altogether? Absolutely not. So, how do you know which fish to avoid and which ones to add to your diet? Instead of experimenting and risking your health, we're here to help you with our top 10 list of fish that you should never eat. However, before we dive right into it, it's important to realize that eating fish is a very healthy habit, and they're an amazing source of not just protein, but also many vitamins such as vitamin B6, vitamin B9, vitamin E, and minerals such as manganese, zinc, and selenium. What's more is that according to America's National Fisheries Institute, or NFI, Americans ate around 20.5 pounds of seafood per capita in 2021 alone, which further tells us that not only is fish a healthy food, but is also loved and enjoyed by many. And rightly so, because have you tried a crispy pan-seared salmon? Absolutely delicious. But even something as tasty as fish can be bad for your health if you're not careful. When we say that some fish are dangerous, your mind might remind you of someone who has a horrible fish allergy. People can develop fish allergy at any age, and you don't have to necessarily consume it to show signs of an allergic reaction. Because people with severe fish allergy can have trouble breathing or experience any other signs of allergy by merely touching fish. This all might sound awful to you, but that's no way near the end of your fish troubles. So what has made some fish so dangerous that we're advising you to never eat them? Let's find out. Number 10. Tilefish. Mostly found in areas close to the East Coast in America, tilefish can be expected in Massachusetts, New Jersey, and Nantucket Island. People like to bake tilefish, roast it, and grill it. But what most people don't realize is that most fish have some amount of methyl mercury present in them, as it falls in water bodies because of industrial pollution and gets accumulated in their bodies. This makes larger fish, such as tilefish, riskier to eat, because tilefish live longer than other fish and therefore have greater quantities of mercury present in their bodies. This can lead to mercury poisoning, a condition where our brains and nerves are badly affected by the toxicity of mercury. Number 9. Swordfish. Just like all fish, swordfish is a great source of protein for all. It is enjoyed in many parts of the world, including America. But like many other fish, swordfish can also store unhealthy amounts of mercury inside their bodies, which puts the health of anyone who eats them at risk. We mentioned before that mercury poisoning can lead to our brains and nerves being damaged, but that's not all it can do. Mercury is so toxic that in larger amounts, it can harm our digestive as well as our immune system. And we all know that when our immune system is compromised, our bodies are unable to defend us against attacking bacteria and viruses. Number 8. Grouper. Usually found close to the Pacific and the Atlantic coast, a grouper is the kind of large fish that you'll find people posing with in front of the camera once they catch it. A steamed grouper with mouth-watering orange sauce is a dish that can excite our taste buds. But don't listen to them, because we can't let our taste buds overpower the fact that even though it is present in small amounts, grouper contains a toxic substance called ciguatoxin that can cause fish poisoning. The problem here is that even though many health risks in fish are reduced by cooking or freezing them, ciguatoxin is a stubborn compound that can resist heat and cold and remain intact to cause havoc. Ciguatoxin poisoning, or ciguatera, can make people throw up and feel nauseous, but causing discomfort is not what it does. Since it is a toxic substance, it can damage our body systems, such as our nervous system, to cause tingling fingers, which is a sign of neurological damage. The worst part about all of this is that ciguatoxin poisoning has no cure available, so whatever it does to our body is there to stay. So maybe after you take that photo after catching a grouper, you should throw it back in the water. Number 7. Barracudas. You might have had dinner with someone at a fancy restaurant where they ordered a fried barracuda dish, but later complained that they felt sick. This can happen because just like a grouper fish, barracudas also cause ciguatera, making people vomit, feel nauseous, experience a bad stomachache, and in some rare cases, make their vision blurry. Some people test the toxicity of fish like barracuda by checking if ants or flies eat it. because if they turn its meat away, that means that it contains harmful toxins. But we don't recommend you sit around waiting to find out if you should or should not cook the Barracuda's meat. After all, it is better to be safe than sorry. Number 6. Chilean sea bass. Also called a toothfish, Chilean sea bass gets its name from the fact that Chileans introduced it in the US market because it is found in Chilean waters and around Antarctica. This sea bass can live up to 50 years, and we all know what that means. The longer a fish lives, and the bigger its size is, the more exposed it is to mercury that makes its way into the water through pollution, and makes fish like the Chilean sea bass dangerous for our health. It has high amounts of mercury, and that is why its consumption is strictly limited in adults. But we think that you should avoid it altogether. Number 5. Tilapia. Tilapia fish is full of nutrients, tastes good, and is inexpensive compared to other fish varieties. And perhaps that's what makes it one of the top 5 fish varieties that is consumed in America. However, just like mercury can make its way into fish habitat and then inside fish, other harmful toxins and chemicals can also get inside fish because of bad farming practices. For example, in the case of tilapia, it is shipped from China, and many fish farming practices in China feed feces to fish, which is how dangerous bacteria such as salmonella can make their way into our systems. Number 4. Orange roughy. Orange roughy fish may live a long life, but it doesn't reproduce as much, and thus whatever orange roughy we eat puts it at a greater risk of overfishing. That's not all. Orange roughy can live up to 149 years in rare cases, and a fish that can live up to almost a century cannot be good for health. One obvious health risk is mercury poisoning, which is why the Environmental Defense Fund, or EDF, put it on its Eco Worst Choices list and also issued a health advisory concerning it. Number 3. Sharks. Perhaps you'd be tempted to eat the meat of an animal that is dangerous for humans if you swim in their waters, because there's a certain thrill to it. Sharks are such animals, and their meat is consumed in many parts of the world like Japan, Iceland, and Australia. If you get a chance to try shark meat, we suggest you say no to it and move on to another seafood option. Why, you ask? That's because shark meat can cause mercury poisoning, and if left unfrozen for long, it can harbor bacterial growth and cause many health problems. Number 2. Pufferfish. You might not know about this, but pufferfish is present on the menu of some restaurants, and many people experiment cooking with it as well. This is true for Japan, where it's prepared as a delicacy called fugu, which is super expensive and is prepared by experts. There's a good chance that you already know what we're about to tell you, which is that pufferfish is extremely poisonous and can cause death. A neurotoxin called tetrodotoxin resides within its organs and is heat resistant, so heating pufferfish's meat will not protect you from it. Number 1. Eel. At the top of our list, we have eel, which again might come as a surprise, but many people do enjoy eels. Not only do eels put you at risk of mercury poisoning, but they also contain harmful toxic substances that can damage our brain and can cause bacterial infection if they are somehow contaminated. So there you have it, a list of 10 fish that you should never eat. But we don't mean to discourage you from eating fish because, after all, there's always more fish in the sea. And we mean that quite literally here. The next time you're at a good seafood restaurant with your friends, instead of an orange roughy, try a wild-caught salmon dish. If you want to try something different, you can also order an oyster. Other than these options, we recommend you try sardines too, because not only are they inexpensive as compared to other seafood options, but they are also packed with amazing health benefits. If you liked our list of what not to eat, make sure to subscribe to our channel, so the next time we post videos that can help your health and wellness, you know where to go.